If you want to, with a big flag, got cheating on the face and on the head. Raise the flag.
Not stuff I want, but definitely. All right, call tonight's meeting of Festus City Council to order. Roll call, please.
Councilman Boyer.
Here.
Councilman Underwood. Councilman Wilkie.
Here.
Councilman Weiner.
Here.
Councilman Dennis.
Here.
Councilman Venz.
Here.
Councilman Cook.
Here.
Councilman Tinnen.
Here. We do have a quorum. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to
Allegiance to flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. We have approval of the consent agenda. Tonight for the warrants, we have a total of $628,478.76. I'd like to have a motion to approve the consent agenda, please. Motion's been made. Second. And seconded. Roll call, please.
Councilman Tinnen.
Yes.
Councilman Cook.
Yes.
Councilman Venz.
Yes.
Councilman Dennis.
Yes.
Councilman Weiner.
Yes,
Councilman Wilkie.
Yes.
Councilman Boyer.
Yes. The motion passes. Remarks of visitors? We received none. Bids, Public Works breaker bid. Staff report?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. You have before you this evening a request from my staff and I to purchase a breaker from New Way. That was our only bidder. We did advertise in the newspaper and we only received one bid for the specific breaker that we requested. The bid price was $14,964 and our budget is $15,000.
Came in under budget.
Oh, incidentally, yes, sir. Just barely.
Just barely.
Incidentally, the breaker that we're replacing is 15 years old.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the bid for $14,964.96 for a
so
breaker
moved,
from New Way.
Second.
so moved.
Second.
Motion's been made. Second. And seconded. Roll call, please.
Councilman Tinnen.
Yes.
Councilman Cook.
Yes.
Councilman Venz.
Yes.
Councilman Weiner.
Yes,
Councilman Dennis.
Yes.
Councilman Boyer.
Yes.
Councilman Wilkie.
Yes.
Motion passes. Our next bid tonight is for the roof at 406 Main Street.
Good evening, gentlemen. We advertised for bids for the roof replacement. 406 is the building that's directly adjacent to the library. Currently the home of Counseling Solutions and Dr. Fassler, a dental office here in Festus. We received 10 bids total, varying from $53,000 all the way up to $154,000. The budget on this project was $160,000. We took into a number of considerations when making the recommendation to you here. One is a full tear-off is preferred. If you recall, this roof was spray foamed. It was probably a bad decision at the time, and it certainly hasn't held up. So we really don't know the extent of the damage that may exist underneath the roof surface. So we want to make sure that we do a full tear-off. Secondly, when you're doing that, several roofing systems, roofing materials. Those in the construction trades can certainly tell you that there's PVC, there's EPDM, there's TPO. They're all different systems, but one that is preferred is going with what they call a fully adhered roof as opposed to a mechanically fastened roof. Mechanically fastened is basically just nailing it down around the perimeter, and here fully adhered is it's essentially glued to the surface. And then we also wanted to make sure that we got ourselves a good warranty on the deal. Most of these roof systems come with a 15 or 20-year warranty. So based on those who proposed a tear-off system and then a fully adhered system, we ended up with bids from FM Roofing, Minor Shagan Roofing and Sheet Metal, and Geisler Roofing in the lowest three. Based on a warranty to year cost, basically taking the total cost that they proposed and the warranty and just dividing by that number, the one with the lowest warranty cost for the longest amount of time was the Minor Sagan bid at $94,575, which is our recommendation to council here this evening. Sure, if you turn on your microphone. It's okay.
Well, it's on.
Red means on.
Hey,
It's okay.
okay. I'm used to red being stop signs. No.
That's okay.
Warranty, is that with the manufacturer or with the company who's doing the roof? Because what happens if they go out of business?
It is a manufacturer's warranty.
Okay.
The systems here, most of them are Firestone manufacturer.
Okay.
There are some other systems out there, but it is a manufacturer's warranty.
Last question, is this project large enough to be surety bonded?
Surety bond, no. And there wasn't a requirement on bid bond either.
Okay.
But we will probably go to the extent of making sure that they have some form of payment bond in place.
Thank you, sir.
Greg,
Yeah.
I know flat roofs are bad, keep from leaking, so I know years ago they would use like a vulcanization and it would seal it with tar. Is that basically?
That's exactly what this is, Dave. Yeah, this is it'll look, what we would consider a rubber roof. The materials, again, you have what they call a PVC, an EPDM, or, those are just letters for, polyvinyl or a different type of poly roof surface. There's three major ones that are out there, and those are those three right there, PVC, TPO, and EPDM. Learned more about flat roofs in the last 30 days than I ever cared to. So.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve a bid of $94,575 from Miners Hagen Roofing and Sheet Metal.
So moved.
Motion's been
Second.
and seconded. Roll call, please.
Councilman Boyer,
Yes.
Councilman Wilkie,
Yes.
Councilman Weiner,
Yes.
Councilman Dennis,
Yes.
Councilman Benz,
Yes.
Councilman Cook,
Yes.
Lieutenant.
Yes.
And motion passes. We accept that bid. Our next bid is from bathroom fixture retrofit. Staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. In order to continue to try to combat the spread of this coronavirus, we're going to convert all of our fixtures in our bathrooms to touchless. So whether it's a touchless flush valve or a touchless lavatory faucet, paper towel dispenser, soap dispenser, and even install some touchless hand sanitizer dispensers at all of our public spaces and most of our employee spaces as well. There are some bathrooms, employee-only bathrooms that won't be affected by this, but this is 99% of the bathrooms that we have in our inventory. And so this request will go to the county for reimbursement consideration through the CARES Act. So this $15,000 fee, we believe will be reimbursed by CARES. And so we won't, I don't believe that we will expend these funds without that guarantee. Yes, sir.
Any of our staff ever installed these before?
No, sir, I don't believe so.
I have a question, please.
Go ahead.
Yes, so can you tell me, does this also, I know that most of the, of our park systems have touchless hand dispensers or water dispensers. Does this also get all those up to date so that they're all touchless too?
Yes, you're correct. There are a few, especially out at West City Park. There's a few of the restroom facilities that do have touchless, but not all of them. So this would convert the remainder. I did a census of sorts. I walked through all the bathrooms out in the parks and counted all the fixtures that needed to be upgraded. And so this takes that into account. But, you know, there's still going to be those fixtures in the concession stand. You know, there's no way to do that with the sink and some of the things in the concession stand. So there's still going to be sinks in our inventory that are the old fashioned, you know, take physical touch in order to turn them on. But this is all the lavatories for the bathrooms.
Okay, very good. I'm happy to hear that the parks also will be taken care of. Thank you.
Is there any other discussion?
Is there any other discussion? I need a motion to approve a bid of $15,340 for bathroom fixture retrofit.
So moved.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded. Roll call, please.
Councilman Cook,
Yes.
Councilman Tinnen,
Yes.
Councilman Benz,
Yes.
Councilman Dennis,
Yes.
Councilman Weiner,
Yes.
Councilman Wilkie,
Yes.
Councilman Boyer.
Yes.
And the motion passes. Mobile data terminal purchase. Staff report.
Yes. Working with the CARES Act, we have something in the future we've been planning on, police department, which is mobile data terminals and ticket writing machines and printers. I think we have the opportunity now to have that opportunity to buy these pieces of equipment and be reimbursed for them. What this doing during the CARES Act, it also is kind of minimizing our contact we have with the public. With this, we'll be able to have computers in the car, data terminals, which we can use our OmniGo program, which is our computer system, is our report writing system. We have /, which is all the equipment, and then FirstNet, which has the data. Basically, in a nutshell, we'll be able to pull into the back of the station and have the officer be able to download their reports from their cars right into the station without having to come in here, minimizing coming into the station and in contact with each other. The ticket writing machines will be able to keep the contact with the public down to a minimum. Once the ticket's written, it's automatically going to be downloaded to the court system. With this, we haven't planned. This is something that is on the future, like I said, for us. And we were counting on this year to try and give us a grasp on what the tax would be for the year. But obviously with COVID, we have no idea what our tax totals are going to be. So I think this is an opportunity for us to get this equipment that we do need. It'll minimize the contact with the officers and the public and allow us to do our job more efficiently.
I would just like to say I'm really, really happy about our police officers being more safe and more efficient, and I support this 100%.
Thank you.
Me too. I think it's a great thing, and I applaud the chief and Doug for getting this up and going. So, good job.
Yes.
Thank Doug. He's that human computer that did all the work.
Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion for data terminals and equipment for $238,312.41. So moved.
Second.
It's been made and seconded. Roll call, please.
Councilman Boyer,
Yes.
Councilman Wilkie,
Yes.
Councilman Weiner,
Yes.
Councilman Dennis,
Yes.
Councilman Benz,
Yes.
Councilman Cook,
Yes.
Councilman Tinnen.
Yes.
Motion carries. Chief,
Thank you.
Good job.
get your mobile data terminals.
That's awesome.
And last bid we have is for a Ford F-250 pickup truck for $30,845 through
Rutherford.
Rutherford.
Yeah.
Staff report.
We kicked around the idea of getting a truck. We use it for various things, going down the range, picking up some pieces of evidence, but also we want to use it for an undercover vehicle also. So we have 3 vehicles on the lot that we're going to trade in. We just haven't got a quote back from Rutherford on what they're going to give us for our cars. But we've got a 2004 Tahoe, a 2004 Crown Victoria, and a 2010 Crown Victoria that we're going to use to kind of offset this. Initially, I'd gone up to look for F-150, but we found out through piggybacking with county on their bid that was going to cost us $34,000. They said you can get an F-250 for $30,000. So we're going with the F-250. I budgeted $37,000 for it initially, 35 coming at 30.
Take them to use like sometimes for undercover.
Yeah, undercover really quick.
Camouflage with like a rebel flag or something on there.
I don't know if we'll go that far in there. I don't want to start a convoy.
Where would the outfitting the car come from then? Since we're under budget right now, $5,000, does that include?
No, that's just the cost of the vehicle. Probably outfitted will probably come out of whatever that $35,000 is to make up the difference. That or out of light equipment maintenance.
Okay.
We use it we're not going to put a whole lot of equipment in it other than the radio and some grill lights. I mean, being a 250, I don't even know if we need any undercover lights in the window because it's going to sit. We make the grill to keep it hidden and on the tailgate to keep it hidden.
Gun rack.
Maybe I put a gun rack and a Browning sticker in the back of it or something.
The 3 vehicles, what if you don't get what you want for trade-in? When you try to sell it outright for better?
We're going to probably try and get rid of them. We just want to trade them into Ruther. If for some reason he doesn't give us a bid, yes, we'll go out and try to get something for him. But I'm just trying to offset this $30,000 as quick as I can.
Hey, Tim, is that the only 3 cars we got in our fleet that you'd like to see go? I know we got quite a few patrol cars out there. I don't know what you use and what you don't.
This will be the last of the Crown Victorias.
Uh-huh.
The 2 Crown Victorias and the Tahoe. We still have an Expedition that we're going to use for undercover work too. Like I was telling the mayor and Gary earlier, it may be going next year because I'm not sure when the rocker panels are going to fall out on that thing.
Yeah, I seen one of the Tahoes the sergeant's driving. Looked like the paint was peeling off. Is that one of the ones that's going to go?
No. This is that tan Tahoe we got in the back. The 2 Sergeant are going to be repainted in December. We're getting them all repainted.
Yeah.
Those are 2014s. Those might be going in the next, we might put in for next year's budget for 2 of the vehicles to replace them, but they're still in the fleet. We're going to repaint them this year.
Okay.
No, it's going to sit on the lot. And we use it for, like we go to the range, we have a trailer, we have to pack in all of our target stands and everything we take down. And then sometimes we'll get a big piece of equipment. Usually we run over to Public Works and say, can we borrow one of your trucks? But we can use that. And then plus, I want a vehicle that kind of blends in. I mean, if you ride around town, look at white Ford pickup trucks. They're everywhere. So I think it'll blend in real well. Unnoticed.
Is there any other discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve a bid of $30,845 for Ford F-250 pickup truck from Rutherford.
So move.
Motion's been made.
I'll second it.
Brian, second.
And seconded. Roll call, please.
Councilman Boyer,
Yes.
Councilman Wilkie,
Yes.
Councilman Weiner,
Yes.
Councilman Dennis,
Yes.
Councilman Benz,
Yes.
Councilman Cook,
Yes.
Lieutenant.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Chief, get your pickup.
I get to pick out the tires, wheels, and lift kit, right?
Yes.
Hey, if he's any kind of redneck chief, he'd be driving that pickup.
Got to have a coon dog shelter in the back too.
He'll be the start to something here.
Is there any old business? Oh, I'm sorry. New business.
Before you, and taking up a majority of your packet, but really what I want you to focus on, or what the meat and potatoes of our traffic calming is the 8 pages between 59 and 67 in your packets. Though that is the policy. The rest of it is supporting documentation and a letter of recommendation from CBB, Transportation Engineers and Planners. If you remember, we worked with CBB on our Pound Road light and intersection. They did a very good job. We called up Chris Brandmeier, asked him if he could put one of his folks on this project just to review, to make sure that we had kind of all our ducks in a row as far as what standard traffic safety recommendations and engineering should be. We wanted to make sure that we weren't going out on a limb and using something that just wasn't based in sound engineering policy. So Sean White with CBB penned this cover letter to the policy on pages 56, 57, and 58. I think the key to this is the third paragraph, which is based on our review, the policy is in line with the published traffic calming policies referenced, including area agencies as well as industry standard publications. Some of the small recommendations that they made here on this letter, we have incorporated into the policy as presented here this evening. They also went to the extra step of providing a series of references and also some pictures and diagrams to give everyone, including the public, an idea of what these calming devices could or would be. So I think what we have here for council to review here this evening, ask any questions between now and our next meeting, and then bring back an ordinance that would adopt the traffic calming measures and the policy at that time. But happy to answer any questions. I know there's a lot there, but really the meat and potatoes of it are the 8 pages that are the actual policy.
Does anything stand out right now?
As far
as in a city where we'd like to see something? Because I looked at it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good ideas.
Yeah, where a lot of this came up from, Bobby, I'll be honest with you, is we started getting some requests from some subdivisions, even newer subdivisions, and they wanted stop signs or speed bumps.
Yes.
Again, stop signs and speed bumps aren't recommended as good ways to impede traffic.
Right, but some of the, like you said, some of the stuff in here was pretty good idea.
Yeah, and if you go through the policy and the recommendation letter that you find in here, they talk about that as well. So there were couple of things that came in with all. One was our previous process was it got dumped on the police chief's desk and he had to make the call on whether or not it was a good idea to address a particular issue in a particular way. And that's unfair to the chief because there's a lot of other, obviously the fire chief's involved, the building and planning department's involved, the public works department is involved with any of our streets in town. So we wanted to set up a policy that's data driven. So one of the things we've been talking about has been the speed limit signs. So those signs have the ability to log the number of cars and the speed of cars in neighborhoods when they're deployed. They would be deployed in an instance where we had a petition from a neighborhood asking for us to consider traffic calming measures. So we would go in and get the data to help us make a decision. And then that's when we get into kind of a review process and we can come up with the best possible scenario as far as what would be a good solution to cars speeding through the neighborhood. Maybe there's a higher incident of impacts, whether they're a moving vehicle or moving with a parked vehicle. There's a lot of different scenarios that we wanted to try to address with traffic calming.
I really liked a lot of the pictures and things they were showing on this because it was really good information. Like you said, I mean, what neighborhoods we're talking could roundabouts or putting those little strips, noise strips or different things. I was looking at it. It was good. It really was. And
So I want you to go ahead and spend some time with it, ask some questions. I think one of the things that is the last 2 pages in this section. This would be the 2 pages of just a little flyer that we would put out, a pamphlet that we would put out that speaks directly to stop signs. Obviously, will it benefit your subdivision? A lot of people think that a stop sign is a solution to a traffic problem. And in a lot of ways, a stop sign can actually make it worse. Because now they're speeding up after they had to stop or they rolled through it. And the guy there at 90 degrees or 180 thinks he's going to stop and he didn't because he's in a hurry. So there's a lot of things that are in that pamphlet. Again, that was also reviewed by CDB. They thought it was a good pamphlet. They thought it had a lot of good information in it. All of it is standard traffic safety, uniform traffic code, as they like to call it, that's been incorporated into this.
it would be nice to pick out worst neighborhood problems and put something in there and try it. See how it would.
Well, as some of you may know, I know Councilman Wayner can speak to this. The folks over on Russell, they were having some problems with a particular car or cars, and I think they were getting a little frustrated. And one of the things that we asked of them at the time was, hey, we're going through a transition right now. We've got this policy. We like this policy. We're hiring a new public works director. We'd like to bring him on board, give him the opportunity to take a look at it, and then get the engineering review of it before we implement it. So we had to kind of they caught us in a gap period, if you will, where we did the best we could, and I think ultimately we were able to finally catch at least one of the cars that was causing the problems. The police department was able to hammer down on that and be able to make a difference, I think, in that case. So here, though, with the policy, it would be an opportunity for us to come in with the new speed limit signs. One, to educate, because 20-mile-an-hour street and you're doing 35, clearly you're over the limit, but the sign's going to tell you that. But that sign is also going to log how fast you were going and how many cars came through there on any given day. And that gives us the data we need, the traffic engineers need, to be able to determine what measures would be the best to address that problem.
May I come back Friday?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's fine. Like I said, more than anything, I wanted to get this in front of you because I know this is something we've been waiting on. We kind of targeted the 1st of November as this being the opportunity to get it to you. So spend some time with it, review it. I think we've got a real good policy here. We've got some very good recommendations from CBB, who are well respected in the field, and I think we've got something we can move forward with. I will put, for the sake of conversation, I will go ahead and put an ordinance adopting this on the next agenda unless somebody really has an objection to that. And hopefully any questions you may have, myself or Matt can address for you in the coming weeks.
Yeah, Greg, I'd like to add a couple things to this, please. So am I good?
Go ahead.
Okay. So I think before when we looked at traffic calming or speeding, all we basically were looking at were maybe like stop signs. That's all we knew, or maybe speed bumps. And like I've been wanting to have some interactive mile per hour gauges, radar signage or radar signs that would indicate how fast people have been going, because frankly, that's all I knew about. But in looking at this, there are so many other options that are available that I did not know about. And what I like about this too is that this is data driven. So it's just not like somebody feels like there should be something there, or maybe a couple people get together. So this has to be driven by our citizens and interactive with the council and with their council person. So I think it's a scientific way of looking at things with a lot more diversity. And I'm looking forward to its implementation and doing things in a more structured way. I think it's going to relieve our police, because right now, if people speed, the only option is to call the police and run some radar on them or do some surveillance. And I think this is going to help our police also and just make our town more efficient and more safe.
So Greg, one thing that you said that all the different people would be involved in making some of these decisions, is that somewhat of a committee with the chief and the fire chief and you guys to still have the eyes on the whole project, because I just think that they have some knowledge of this. Like I said, I read it. I'd rather wait for the movie though, but like I said, I think I got the gist of it. But where to apply it or the practicalities of it, I like the fact that we're gathering data. We're doing it in a scientific way, but you still will have those individuals that you said involved in some of the decision making and recommendations for us, right?
Kevin, as you well know, probably one of the most important reasons we have our streets is for emergency vehicles to be able to get to our residents.
Right.
So obviously, we want our police and fire chief involved in any decision-making process that we make. In reference to, I mean, it's one thing to try to slow traffic down. It's another thing to be an impediment to an emergency vehicle, which is something we don't want to do, which is we have so many options here. And that's one of those things where, I mean, there may be some items in this policy that, yes, they are generally accepted devices that can be used to calm traffic, but from a practical application in Festus, we may never see a single one of them because we can't get the ladder truck through, or whatever the case may be. So I think having our, obviously, our police and fire department involved in the discussions, along with our building and planning department, because they're involved with certainly new subdivisions and how they're designed and how they come into being. Obviously, our public works department, because they got to take care of the streets, and the odds are they'll be implementing changes we make.
Because one of the areas that I very well had an issue with myself is a highway out there. There's so many large trucks hauling building supplies and cement and gravel, and I guess they're getting paid by the load, because one of them, I couldn't get out of his way. He ran me off the road. I called it in, and he had a buddy right behind him, and he started passing people in a tandem tractor trailer dump truck. It's almost like we've outgrown that roadway there. And I know Brian's brought this up before. There's a lot of issues out there. There's a lot of wrecks. We put lights up. I really see that as a huge challenge to try to, to get those people slowed down. You make a mistake with a tractor trailer, somebody's going to die. And I very well was in front of it the other day. I was in a handicap van, and all I could do was get out of the way. But I noticed that today there was a lot of trucks coming through there, and the one almost rear-ended the other one when they got over to the stop sign. And I guess that's just the times we live in, but I see that as a big challenge. And I've seen the police out there giving tickets, and so I think that's something we need to get. I know they've done counts before, but see, we kind of slow them down a little bit, I guess.
Let's try to calm your ears.
Well, hopefully, Kevin, a couple more days that lane will be done. That's closed the highway, and a lot of people are detouring.
Yeah.
Maybe you're right, Bobby. It seems to be a lot of big commercial hauling materials and stuff.
So hearing no objections, we'll plan to have an ordinance to adopt the traffic calming policy at the next meeting. And again, gentlemen, anytime you need to get a hold of me, we can get together and sit down and talk about this.
Greg, I'd like to add that maybe we should get a hold of Kurt Steve at the ambulance district, have him sit on some of that discussion.
That's certainly possible. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none. The next thing on the agenda for new business is holidays. And let me address that in just a minute. one of the things that I think we need to do in Missouri, all state offices and county offices and practically every other governmental office is closed on Truman's birthday.
Yep.
And I think that we should consider making Truman's birthday a holiday. After all, he is the only president who is from the state of Missouri. And you can't do anything with the county or any of the state offices. So I'd like to consider making.
Whether it's, more of a commodity type item, yes, most definitely. If there are other vendors out there that we can contact, I encourage my staff and I myself to call them and tell them, hey, we have this bid. This is how you submit it. You can check it out on our website, or I can email it to you. I want the most competitive opportunity to award the contract as well. It's just, this was unique. This was a time that we asked for a specific model from a specific manufacturer with specific features. And so it really was the only item that was going to fit that bid. And that was at the request of my staff, because the way that breaker was made was unique. And so it's not the way that most breakers, I guess, are manufactured. This was 100% hydraulic, and it even has a self lubricating feature on it. So it's going to keep itself maintained, at least to some degree, better than a standard. So it's unique. So this wasn't that time, but in the time that we buy a pickup truck, or we go in and we get some other kind of generic thing, most certainly we'll get.
On something that's not generic, could you mention in staff report, maybe say like, due to the nature of this item, this is why we advertised only and got one bid.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
I swear, I turned it on. It's coming off.
It goes off by itself.
Okay. Greg gave me a bad microphone. I know we did.
How come Greg keeps setting mic up for failure? His screen wouldn't work.
My mic
This is an issue.
No offense taken. Last but not least, I want to thank, I only know a couple, so I don't want to forget anybody, but to the mayor and to Dave Boyer and to the rest of the veterans, enjoy Wednesday. Thank you so much for your service. To the rest of the city employees that I'm unaware who served, you have my utmost respect and gratitude. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Councilman Boyer.
Well, I want to reiterate what I've heard earlier on the workers. I think they've been doing a good job, and for the city of Festus and the staff. And I think the two holidays, I think it would be a shot in the arm for them feeling good about the situation with the pandemic and everything. It's been tough on everybody. And I thank you, Mike, for recognizing us as veterans. We appreciate that very much. And I think it's about all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Thank you. Well, gentlemen, here we are in color red from the county from COVID. We now have today's count 250 active cases in the 63028 zip code. We must be more vigilant about wearing masks, washing hands, social distancing, because this thing just continues to skyrocket. And if it continues, we may have to make some decisions as far as having our facilities open to the public, especially Fifth Street and the library, because we're just having, this thing is out of control, and we have to be careful with our employees. The other thing is, I would like you all to tomorrow just kind of remember and be thankful for that it is the 245th birthday of the United States Marine Corps. That, but it is, and Marines like to celebrate, and so, if there are Marines that are watching this, I'd like to say, happy birthday, Marines. Semper Fi. Do you have anything else, Craig?
I was going to wait for you to finish your tribute to the.
I'm done.
Okay. Actually, Mr. Unrein has an announcement. I know he has an important, we've had a position that we've been trying to fill since we appointed Josh Whaley as Park Superintendent, or Parks Director. And today, I think we finally found our man.
We did indeed. I'm very, very happy to and pleased to announce we've promoted a 30-year veteran of our fine city, Mr. Chuck Boyer, to the position of water sewer foreman. So he was our first choice. Greg and I agreed. The other two individuals on our panel, both Shane Dollar and Josh Whaley, all agreed this man was the best choice for the job, and I'm glad we were able to reach an accord with him, and he's going to be taking it. In fact, he started today.
Good. Fine fella.
Great. I apologize. The mayor said something, and I do have one just quick yay, no, nothing detailed. I agree with the mayor. I'm really concerned about this COVID. Are we considering maybe the Christmas parade? Maybe?
We don't, obviously, that's the chamber's call.
But it's a permit by the city to be issued for the road and stuff.
And I think we're also considering the viability of Winterfest at this point. We're also considering the viability of Santa House.
So I need to know.
At this point.
Thanks, sir.
I think this time next week, we need to have, we'll have the new numbers on the rolling total. If we're 3 weeks in the red and we're that close to being, the 1st of December, I think we're going to have to make some tough decisions.
Yeah, I know it's not an easy decision, so
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved. Motion's been made.
Seconded.
And seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. We are adjourned.